Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Wednesday, July 23rd, 2014 Placer County Transportation Planning Agency meeting. We will begin the meeting with the flag salute, which I will take the liberty of leading you with. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Holmes.
Yeah. What'd you say?
Holmes.
Oh, yeah. I thought you said, oh. I thought you said, oh. Yeah, I'm here. Thanks.
Joyner. Nesbitt.
Here.
Rohan.
Here.
Breslin.
Here.
Trebus. Yukovich. Euler.
All righty. I'll ask for the approval of the minutes from June 18th, 2014. It's moved and seconded to approve the minutes of June the 18th. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, any abstentions? Hearing none.
Abstention.
Oh, two. How many? Okay. Wow. 3 abstentions. Got that? To my left.
Oh, what,
Yeah, we have to roll call.
Okay.
Oh, do we have to have a roll call for this? Oh, geez. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Holmes.
Yes.
Joyner. Nesbitt. Rohan.
Abstain.
Breslin.
Aye.
Yes.
Trebus. Yukovich. And Euler.
All right, thank you. Agenda review, is there anything on the agenda that we need to adjust or change or anything? Seeing none, we'll move out to public comment. Now is the time for anyone in the audience that wishes to address the commission on any agenda, any item that is not on the agenda. Now is the time to come forward. Seeing none, I'll close public comment and move to our consent calendar. Anything on consent that needs to come off for discussion?
Yes.
Anybody out there?
Sure. Holmes?
Oh, I'm
I'd like
sorry.
to pull item number 4, please.
Item number 4, okay. Do I have a motion to approve the rest of the?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to move to approve the consent calendar and pulling number 4 off for discussion. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Oh, wait a minute. Got to have a roll call.
Holmes.
Yes.
Joyner. Yes. Nesbitt.
Aye.
Rohan.
Yes.
Breslin.
Yes.
Trebus.
Yes.
Yukovich.
Yes.
Euler.
All right. Hey, you're going to get to know these names pretty soon. Okay, we'll move to item 4 for the TDA financial audit, City of Auburn.
Yeah, just a brief question. I mean, our fare box recovery ratio continues to sort of decline, so we're at like 8.97%, so maybe define the implications of that. We're under that 10%. We were at 15, I think they lowered it to 10, and now we're under that 10, so maybe you can define the implications of that for the city of Auburn.
Well, I can do that, and I will be backed up by Aaron Hoyt, who is our TDA specialist. But essentially, if a jurisdiction does not make fare box for a certain number of years and that make the required amount of fare box revenue returns, essentially the agency is required to start assessing a fine against the agency or jurisdiction that is set aside until the jurisdiction can make adjustments that will provide them making fare box recovery. So you'd have to make adjustments to either routes, costs, what have you, excuse me, in order to make the 10% fare box ratio. And if that continues not to happen, then those fines would then accrue. We would set those aside. The city would not lose that money, but you would not have access to it until that 10% ratio is achieved.
Would the fines factor into that equation of fare box recovery ratio at all? No,
I
they're
don't
they're
believe so.
No, they would not.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Then I'll entertain a motion to approve item number 4 in consent.
I will move to approve item 4.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve item F4. All those, will the clerk please call the roll?
Holmes.
Yes.
Joyner. Yes. Nesbitt.
Aye.
Rohan.
Yes.
Breslin.
Yes.
Trebus.
Yes.
Yukovich.
Yes.
Euler.
All righty, thank you. We'll now adjourn as the Placer County Transportation Planning Agency and convene as the Placer County Airport Land Use Commission. This is a 9 a.m. public hearing, proposed Sheridan Community Plan update and consistency determination with airport land use compatibility plan. Who's taking the lead on?
Good morning.
Mr. Milko.
Good morning. David Melko here, and I'll be working with you on the public hearing. So we're asking the board to conduct a public hearing on the proposed Sheridan Community Plan update and its consistency with the Placer County Airport Land Use Compatibility Plan. And we're recommending that you find that the Placer County's proposed Sheridan Community Plan update is consistent with the Airport Land Use Compatibility Plan and include the proposed policy for county consideration. So just a brief refresher here in terms of Airport Land Use Commission. We updated the Placer County Airport Land Use Compatibility Plan back in February 2014. And as required under state law, general plans, general plan amendments, specific plans, rezoning affecting property within an airport influence area, changes in building regulations are all actions that require an Airport Land Use Commission review prior to an approval by the local jurisdiction. So before us today, we have the Sheridan Community Plan update, and this is a comprehensive update to the 1976 Sheridan Community Plan. And there are two maps that show that the Lincoln Regional Airport influence area extends into the community of Sheridan to provide you sort of a context in terms of the airport influence area does in fact extend up to this community plan area. The Sheridan Community Plan involves processing a general plan amendment. It involves basically changes to the land use diagram, preparation of the draft community plan, various zoning text amendments to implement certain parts of the community plan. There's property rezoning of, I believe 26 properties, 25 properties, through the zoning ordinance, and approval of a negative declaration. As required for a consistency re-review, we need to conduct a public hearing, and so we placed a public hearing notice 10 days prior to this public hearing in the Lincoln News Messenger. We also worked with the county and obtained from them their stakeholder community database. I believe there's like 100 individuals on that. Plus, we also used the stakeholder database for the Lincoln Airport. And so we mailed notices to those stakeholder groups. And we placed notice on our website. So that's the public outreach. We do have with us today Crystal Jacobson. She's planner with the planning department. So if there are any questions with respect to the community plan update, I'm sure she'd be more than glad to respond to those. So the county requested that we complete this consistency determination, and as required under airport land use law, we have 60 days from the request date, which was June 6th, to act upon this. The county requested this particular public hearing because they are looking to come back to the Board of Supervisors later this summer with hopefully adoption of the community plan. And so the Airport Land Use Commission has three choices here with respect to the community plan update and its consistency with the Airport Land Use Compatibility Plan. So we can find it consistent. We can find it consistent subject to conditions, which is the recommendation today, or we can find it inconsistent based on specific conflicts. So in terms of determining consistency, we use the Lincoln Regional Airport Compatibility Plan. If you recall, when we prepared the Airport Land Use Compatibility Plan, there is a countywide element to it, and then there are specific compatibility plans for each airport. So in doing the review here, we looked at it from the Lincoln Regional Airport perspective. And there are basically two tests, and the first test is that there be no direct conflicts between the two plans, and that there needs to be a mechanism or process that ensures that future land use development within the airport influence area would not conflict with the Airport Land Use Compatibility Plan. And the airport influence area, in this case, looking at the maps, would involve zones C1, C2, and Zone D. So at the present time, the Sheridan Community Plan does not contain any policies pertaining to Lincoln Regional Airport. So working with the county, we have basically crafted a new health and safety policy to place in their health and safety element, where they would basically find that new development would be required. New development within compatibility zones C1, C2, and D would conform to the criteria found in the Lincoln Regional Compatibility Plan, and that's part of a table that's shown within that plan. And so the new policy would read that projects proposed within compatibility zones C1, C2, and D of the Lincoln Regional Airport shall conform to the criteria set forth in table LIN, stands for Lincoln, Chapter 6A of Chapter 6 of the Placer County Airport Land Use Compatibility Plan. And we concur with this proposed policy recommendation, and thus will bring this in the Sheridan Community Plan into consistency with the Airport Land Use Compatibility Plan. And we did not have a TAC meeting, but we emailed to our TAC our recommendations here, and we received no feedback from the TAC. And so with that, we took that as concurrence on the part of the TAC. And I'd be glad to respond to any questions. And if not, I would recommend that we open it up for the public hearing.
All right.
And go from there.
Any questions? Seeing none on my right. Any
Whoa,
questions?
whoa, whoa. I had a question,
Oh, you didn't raise your hand.
Chairman. Maybe you could clarify, we have two maps here. One is,
Sullivan, can I get some water?
First map is a showing the proposed land uses. So that would be your general plan, community plan land use map.
Just some water.
The second map shows the proposed zoning changes.
okay, the question I have on one map, on the first map, at Riosa Road, where it's on the left-hand side, Riosa and Wheatland, it shows that as open space, and then right where the D is on the bottom, where Nader Road is, it shows that as open space. But then when you go to the zoning, maybe somebody could clarify what, is that open space zoning, or is that different zoning?
The colors are, we were talking about this prior to the board meeting, the colors are kind of difficult to discern. But I believe that,
Does O stand for open space then?
yes, O stands for
Oh, okay.
open space. It's just that the color kind of looks a little bit like the BP.
Okay,
Type
thank
of
you.
zoning.
That clarified it, thanks.
Okay, thank you. Any more questions? Alrighty then, I will open the public hearing. Is there anyone from the public that wishes to address the commission on this item? Please come forward, state your name and your address.
Lee Bastian, I'm with the Sheridan MAC, and we just want to recommend you guys to approve it and let you know that the planning board approved it with the changes recommended by PCTPA.
All right, okay. Oh, yeah, sign it. Anyone else wish to address the commission on this item? Please come forward and state your name.
Thank you and good morning. I'm Crystal Jacobson with the Placer County Planning Services Division, and I just wanted to let you know I'm here for questions if you have them, and then also just would appreciate your consideration of the plan and its consistency with the airport land use compatibility plan. We have worked with David on this, and the open space question that came up earlier, those are lands that are in they're mitigation bank lands, and so that is an open space area. I do recognize that the colors are a little hard to interpret there. But anyway, just available if you have any questions.
All righty, thank you.
Yes, Chairman Holmes, thank you. First, I want to thank you for the, since I'm already colorblind, I feel even worse now for the maps. These are the proposed zoning and the proposed land use. How do I compare this to what's existing?
Well, there's not a whole lot of changes that have occurred in terms of land use in the Sheridan Community Plan update. The changes largely were a cleanup. The open space area is a change. It's going from farm to open space, and the reason for that is to acknowledge the mitigation banks that are on those properties. There's some minor changes, but only within the town site. So what we've done is expanded the area of the Sheridan Community Plan update to recognize the MAC boundaries, the Municipal Advisory Council boundaries within that area. But The land uses outside of the town site have not changed. The changes within the town site were largely related to some community consideration that came through the visioning process. There's a small area of highway service that's being added. We heard from the community this desire to have some kind of service facility, maybe a gas station or a grocery store, because of the Highway 65 bypass.
Right.
And, there really aren't a lot of services out in the Sheridan area. So that was one change. And then we had some minor changes to the commercial core area where we put a town site, I think it's a town commercial overlay district to allow for mixed uses within the town site. But aside from that, there aren't a lot of land use changes.
Great, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else from the public wish to address the commission on this item? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing and bring it back to the commission for action. Any comments, questions, direction, motions? Okay, it's been moved and seconded to move the item. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Holmes.
Yes.
Joyner. Yes. Nesbit. Rohan.
Yes.
Westland.
Yes.
Rivas. Yukovich. Euler.
All right, thank you. And now we will adjourn as the Airport Land Use Commission and reconvene as the Placer County Transportation Planning Agency for the Executive Director's Report.
Yes, I have a couple of items for your consideration. First, I wanted to report that this past week were two public workshops on the scoping meetings for the environmental document on the third track project, which will put in a passenger track between Sacramento and Roseville to enable us to expand the Capital Corridor rail service to 10 round trips a day, something we've been working on for a couple of decades, that is moving forward. So we're very excited about that. Fairly good attendance. The meeting that was at Roseville this last Thursday was attended by Chair Holmes and Board Member Yukovich, and there was a good discussion about some of the alternatives and what was being planned. So that will be moving forward, and those comments incorporated into the scoping as we're going forward on that. We're optimistic that if cap and trade seems to be going as the way it's going, in terms of what will be funded out of that, that this project would be a very good candidate for those dollars. So the second item is tomorrow, Thursday night, there will be a public workshop in the city of Lincoln on the Highway 65 widening and kicking off the environmental document on that. We're going to be doing a presentation to the public that will roughly be the same as the presentation provided to this board back in, I believe it was May or June? May. And so we'll be out there getting public comments. I know that a number of you may be attending the city-county officials dinner, which is also in Lincoln that evening, as will I. And I've found that if you're perhaps very skillful and a bit lucky with traffic, that you can hit that meeting and then scoot on over to the city-county officials dinner as well. So I wanted to make sure the board was aware that that meeting was going to be happening. A third item, which is kind of exciting to me, and you'll be hearing a lot more about it at your next board meeting in August, is we just got some very preliminary information on the polling that we've done, the updated polling. I just got some numbers yesterday that indicate that there's a stronger public support for funding transportation improvements than I had expected. There was the top line results look to be that there's a significant uptick from the last polling we did, so kind of excited about that. We have to look at all the numbers and the crosstabs and so on, but we'll be doing a full presentation to the board at your next meeting in August. And then finally, I wanted to make sure that the board was aware of the Women's Transportation Seminar They're having their annual Cruising the Catwalk event. Now, I was in this last year, but they've really upped their game in terms of who they've gotten to act as models, including our own Mayor Susan Rohan, who will be joining a number of her friends and colleagues on the catwalk. That's August the 14th, and I'll make sure that each and every one of you get an invitation to that.
All right.
I have to say, it was a heck of a lot of fun last year, and it's a fundraiser for a very good cause. So, and that concludes my report.
Thank you. I just wanted to report I was at the Roseville workshop or scoping, public scoping, and I've been getting lobbied for the extension of the third rail to Rockland, and also lobbying for a second train to Auburn. So I know we're finally getting something done to Roseville, but this will come in increments, and so don't hold your breath about the third rail to Rockland. Anyhow, it's well, but we're thinking about it. Okay. Alrighty. Any board direction to staff? Oh, I'm sorry. Did you have a question?
Yes, I did.
Oh, yeah. I didn't see your light.
Oh, that's okay. I just turned it on. It didn't go on anyway.
It's on.
That's
yeah.
okay.
That's fine.
I had a question because I read in the B, which I wasn't aware of, that there was 100 Teslas that went from, I don't know, East Coast and ended up in Loomis, California. Question I have is, as far as charging stations, would this commission have any way of trying to see that some might be implemented in Placer County or not?
Certainly. My first reaction is that that would be an eligible expenditure for congestion mitigation and air quality, or CMAQ funds, which we are looking to do another round of that funding this fall. I will note that in part of the ongoing challenge for funding for local improvements and local priorities, what we're seeing at a statewide basis is an increased push for the control of the selection of projects in the CMAQ program, in the Regional Surface Transportation Program, as well as the State Transportation Improvement Program, all typically funding sources that we have local control over the project selection, the selection being put back to the state. So as part of the groups of regional transportation planning agencies, we are pushing against that happening, but it's something that the board should be aware of. I've talked about it before, but it continues to be a push on the state. So what I'm saying is that would be a good source of that funding. If it goes to the state, it becomes a little more challenging to get a hold of that.
Okay. Well, I was thinking maybe that Tesla might participate in partial funding, but somebody would need to contact them to see, because I know they need some high speed, or not called high speed, but fast charging stations. And that was the main thing about this article, that you can drive your car across the United States. So there must be some charging stations somewhere to be able to do that. The other thing I wanted to bring up, I don't know if you got the press release about them. They're going to be raising the bridges on Highway 80, and they're going to be having a kind of a kickoff at Rayleigh's on, I don't know if it's this Thursday or next Thursday at 9 o'clock in the morning.
I know that they are doing some work. There's going to be some closures this next weekend.
Yeah. Well, that's they're doing some preliminary work, but there's a kickoff. Let's say maybe this Thursday at 9 o'clock at Rayleigh's. There.
Yeah, I know. I have the email in my inbox.
Okay, but anyway, I wanted to point that out to the other commission members that they will be starting to work to raise the bridges. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You bet. Director Nesbitt, did you have Oh, good, thank you. Got 2 buttons. Alrighty, if there's no more direction to staff, we have some informational items for your review. And our next regularly scheduled PCTPA board meeting is August 27th. And at this time, we will adjourn, if it's okay with you.